Alright, what is going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about the newest champion coming to the game, another Fantastic Four member, Human Torch. This was the guy I was most excited for, dude. This is the coolest Fantastic Four member for me. My favorite of the Fantastic Four for sure, man. Johnny Storm, he's so cool, man. He's so cool, but yet he's not cold. Okay, just kidding. But let's get into this character, man. So he's really awesome. A lot of cool stuff to talk about. First thing I want to touch on are his synergies. So really cool thing with the Fantastic Four. So we got Thing, obviously he was the first to come, and the other two is going to be, assuming, Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. But it's really cool because the synergy actually changed the animations on these characters. Unfortunately, I don't have a thing to show you guys, but if you actually fight Thing and Human Torch in the Uncollected event quest, you'll see at the end of Thing's special 1, like, you see some fire, and at the end of Human Torch's L1 you see like some rocks being thrown, because that's their synergy. They're interacting, which is just so cool. It actually changes the animations of the characters. So that first synergy with Thing, you know, it's alright. This next synergy though with Thing, man, this is by far Human Torch's best synergy. And again, unfortunately, I don't have a thing to show it off, but basically, Human Torch starts the fight with 2 smolder passive, and his temperature increases faster while charging a heavy attack. Now, right now, that probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you guys. We're going to get into his abilities, and it'll make more sense, but the smolder passives are very important to playing this character and just ramping him up, getting more higher temperature, which helps a lot with Incinerates and some other stuff, so we'll talk about it. The other synergies, this one, it's alright. Nothing too important. And then a power gain synergy, which is, again, alright, but it's with Medusa and Rogue. Not going to be using either of those characters, so yeah, whatever. To get into this character's abilities, this is actually the debut of a brand new mechanic in the game, which is really cool, man. So there's persistent charges, and the way this works is essentially you get 1, and you can activate it on any fight you choose. You go into a quest with 1 charge, and you can activate it on any fight you choose, and basically it's like you're souped up, you're like supercharged for this fight. So Human Torch, his ability is pre-fight. It's called a pre-fight ability, basically, and when you activate it, he basically, right here we go, Flame On. So Human Torch starts the quest with 1 persistent charge. If Human Torch has at least 1 persistent charge, you can consume them to activate this ability before the fight. And like I said, you get to choose. So if you don't want to use it on the first fight, you want to save it for a harder fight, you can do that. For an entire fight, all of Human Torch's Incinerates are Nova Flames, last 2 seconds longer, and it deal an additional 75% damage. This ability does not stack. So it's awesome, man. When you're in, it's kind of like his Super Saiyan form. It's just awesome. He's just so much more ramped up and just does so much more damage in this form. And the cool thing when you get Human Torch Awakened is you can actually get this ability back in a quest. So basically how it works is if it's not active, it has at max sig as a 4-star, basically a 15% chance to gain it going into a fight. So for the next fight, it'll be active, and every time this ability fails, so for every fight you go into and it does not trigger, it gets increased by a flat 22% chance to trigger on the next fight, to get the charge back, basically. And this is a sig 99 as a 5-star. We'll probably see these values increase. But yeah, so those are those abilities there. Brand new abilities to the game, really cool, man. We're going to showcase some of it there. Yeah, so passive ability here is Human Torch is immune to Incinerate, Cold Snap, and Frostbite, just on his own, straight up immunities, which is awesome, man. More Cold Snap immune characters are always welcome, and more Incinerate immune characters are also welcome. The really cool thing about him being Incinerate immune is whenever Human Torch would be incinerated, he places a Smolder passive on himself. Smolder passives deal 0 damage and last indefinitely, so they're a permanent thing that you gain. Basic attacks deal energy damage instead of physical, so Human Torch doesn't do any physical attack damage. It's all energy. And the really cool thing is here is the smolders. So for an Incinerate node, you gain a smolder, and like I said, those smolders are very important. If you have Thing, you get to start with 2. We'll talk about it a bit more, because it has to do with his temperature. So basically, while charging a heavy attack, Human Torch increases his temperature. That's the main way you're really going to be increasing it. Temperature decreases constantly over time. Temperature decreases slower for each Incinerate or smolder on either champion. So the more smolders you have, the slower your temperature will decrease, and you want to keep your temperature high, because At 10 temperature, the heat from Human Torch's attacks is so intense they cannot miss. At 20 temperature cannot decrease for 6.5 seconds, and then is set to 18. But basically, the duration of all of Human Torch's incinerate effects increase by up to 4 seconds depending on its temperature. So the higher the temperature, the longer your incinerate debuffs on the opponent are going to last, which is great because you're just going to be doing more damage. So as Incinerate, Human Torch incinerates the opponent with his first and last light hit, his first medium hit, or all of his medium hits, and his heavy attacks. These Incinerate debuffs deal 233 damage over 3 seconds. So basically, if you do 3-hit combos, medium, light, medium, you're getting 3 Incinerates on the opponent. Incinerate removes perfect block chance and reduces block efficiency by 50% while it's active. The damage of all of Human Torch Incinerate effects increased by 12% for each Incinerate or Smolder on either champion. So again, the more Smolders, the better your Incinerates. So you just want to stack up those Smolders, man. For each Incinerate on the opponent, the regeneration rate is reduced by 20%. So basically, he has Despair mechanic built in. So for each Incinerate, you're reducing the opponent's regen. So this is going to help fighting against like willpower. So when I first was reading these abilities, like, ooh, someone with willpower could be maybe healing. But yeah, this is going to cut down on the regen. Pair this with Despair, and you're going to be reducing that healing into the negatives. Actually, you can actually reverse healing, which I'm going to show you guys against some Realm of Legends Wolverine, which is really cool. And while Human Torch is bleeding, the duration of all Incinerate effects is reduced by 4 seconds. So you don't want to be bleeding. So when I'm running suicides with him, I kind of just wait till my bleed falls off to really start doing damage, because your Incinerates don't last long at all when you're bleeding, which sucks. Now we're going to talk about the Nova form. So this is that kind of Super Saiyan form I was talking about that he gets when you trigger with that persistent charge thing. You have it for the whole fight. Your whole fight, you're fighting in like the Nova form, and you get all these amped up abilities. But to trigger it without the persistent charge, basically what you got to do is when your temperature is at 20 and the opponent has 7 Incinerate effects, for the next 7 seconds, instead of placing Incinerate debuffs on the opponent, Human Torch places Nova Flame passives instead. So when you're in the form using the persistent charge, you're placing Nova Flame passives on the opponent instead of the Incinerate debuffs. But the Nova Flame passive kind of acts as Incinerate debuff for his abilities, which it states right here in the Nova Flame. Nova Flame passives are treated as Incinerate debuffs for all the Human Torch's abilities. But the really cool thing is actually these passive Nova Flame effects work on Incinerate immune characters, which we're going to showcase. I'm going to show you guys fighting an Iceman, and we're incinerating him, which is crazy. So quickly, the Nova Flame deals energy damage over time, removes perfect block, and reduces block efficiency, and it inflicts power sting. So this is another really cool mechanic in how you get a lot of damage out of this character. An opponent with power sting takes basically 700 direct damage when activating a special attack. Power sting is removed when Nova Flame expires. And when you're in this when you activate the persistent charge ability, when you're in Flame On, we'll call it that. We'll call it Flame On. When you're in that mode, every Incinerate is also triggering a power sting. So you can get like more than 5 power stings at a time, and when they activate a special, you just see so much damage coming off. It's great, man. And again, all these ability guys, this is for a 4-star, so I really want to see some 565 gameplay and see the damage up, but it's going to be crazy. So originally when I was thinking about this character, I was thinking, he could be a pain on defense if they do him kind of like they do Electro, where every time you're hitting him, you're taking flame damage or you're getting Incinerates on yourself. But he's not going to be too much of a pain on defense unless you bring a Mystic character. Basically, 0% chance to incinerate the opponent for 233 damage over 4 seconds. The chance increases by a flat 10% for each Incinerate or Smolder on either champion. So it's a 0% chance as long as there's no Smolders, as long as Human Torch has no Smolders on him, and as long as you have no Incinerates on you. 0% chance, you don't have to worry. But when you bring in a Mystic champion, he's going to get Smolders very fast, and then you're going to be taking Incinerate damage because this ability gets increased by 10% for each Smolder or Incinerate. So when blocking or attacked, if hit dealt energy damage, temperature increases by 5, and Human Torch Smolders. And all attacks from Mystic champions are considered as energy damage towards this ability. So Human Torch is going to be absolutely insane for fighting Mystic champs, man, because he's just going to have so many Smolders. You're going to be able to keep your temperature super high. It's going to be crazy. So your Incinerate's just going to be putting in work. We're going to duel Mystic champ in a sec to show you what that's like. But as far as his special attacks go, the first hit of his attack increases temperature by 5, and it cannot decrease for 6.5 seconds. So this is a way to get temperature up, but I don't advocate the L1. I'll show you guys how I like to play him. And also, if the last hit is blocked, it places a passive Smolder on Human Torch. which can be good, but I find a much better method through using the L3, which we'll talk about in just a sec. The L2, 100% chance to stun for 3 seconds. The last 2 hits of this attack have a 100% chance to incinerate the opponent, which is nice. If the last 2 hits are blocked, they place a smolder on Human Torch instead, which I'm not going to be trying to get the opponent to block my special attacks. You know, I'm not going to be playing like that. But the stun is very important on the special too, because basically, so let's talk about the special 3 real quick. Inflict a Nova Flame dealing 1100 damage over 5 seconds. Human Torch enters his Nova form for 7 seconds and places 2 smolder passives on himself. So the special 3, man, it's awesome because you're going to be getting into that Nova form. Just a very easy way to do it. And 2 smolders on yourself. So this is the easiest way to get smolders on yourself if there's no Incinerate nodes, if you're not fighting a Mystic Champ, if you don't have the Thing synergy, which for me normally in a normal fight I'm not going to have any of those things. So yeah, start the fight, just get to your L3, get that L3 off. Boom, now you're smoldering. Now you're going to be able to keep your temperature high. It's going to help with your incinerate damage at the time on your incinerates. And then you can go for a special 2, stun lock for 3 seconds, and then charge your heavy attack. Boom, you get to 20 temperature, and then you're cruising. So those are his abilities broken down, but let's go do some fights to really show it, because we talked about it a lot. Just talking about it can kind of get a little confusing. It's better to show you guys. So let's duel Seaton. He has a Symbiote Supreme as his main champ. Let's go ahead and duel him. Also, one thing to note, Human Torch's prestige is 10,530, which is pretty awesome in and of itself. So yeah, you can see for a blocked hit, boom, we gain the smolder. Take another blocked hit, a parry, boom, another smolder. Boom, there's 3 smolders. Just every single hit, we're smoldering, which is just great, man. And my temperature just keeps on increasing. Go ahead and get it up to 20. Boom, there we go. And now just we're gonna be incinerating. Just look at that, man. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. He just keeps pushing up my temperature because for every hit, he's such a good champ for fighting mystics. It's just crazy. And we weren't even using the ability because you can't trigger it on duels. But yeah, that's just a little taste. We're gonna get into some better gameplay in a second here, guys. Let's go get to that gameplay now. All right, what's going on, guys? We're back with some more gameplay. So to start out, we're gonna be showing you guys that incinerate characters are no longer incinerate immune, sort of. So basically, we're gonna be here. So you just tap on the character right there like that, and boom, that's how you activate the pre-fight ability. Boom, we'll go flame on. We're hopping this fight. It's an Iceman. I went all the way back to Act 5 to find an Iceman to fight. It's 5.1.6. So yeah, Iceman. We start the fight. We're in full flame on. So boom, you can see we're incinerating him. Those are passive incinerates, Nova Flames, which I like it for Human Torch, but like if you're running an Incinerate immune champ and you're getting passive Incinerate on yourself, that kind of sucks. I don't know how I feel about that. It's interesting, for sure. But yeah, you can see my passive incinerates weren't really lasting too long. That's because I had the bleed from suicide. So let that wear off. Now I can actually start doing some damage. As you can see, the passive incinerates are stacking up, and for every incinerate we're putting on him, we're also putting on a power sting, which is great. So now we're gonna go for the L2, stun him, and then we're gonna charge our heavy attack, get all the way up to 20 temperature. Let that go, and now you can see our Nova passive flames are going to be lasting longer, which means our power stings are going to be lasting longer, which means we have more time to bait out a special, stack up more, and just do more damage, which is great. And yeah, this fight goes great, man. Boom, he's done for. Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. We can see we incinerated an Incinerate immune Iceman, which is crazy. So yeah, you can get around Incinerate immunity, which is great. Next up, we're going to be doing a fight on Captain Marvel, and again, we're going to be activating the pre-fight ability, Flame On. I wanted to showcase this fight for more of a longer fight, really show what you would want to do in like a real fight, like in a war fight. It's obviously much different than a war fight, but basically what you want to do is get to your L3. Get to your L3, get smoldering. You really want to get the smolders off, unless you have the Thing synergy where you can start with 2 smolder charges, passives, whatever you want to call them, just because you really want to get, you can see my temperature's at 0. It's dropped from the start of the fight so quick, and it really doesn't stay high at all if you're not smoldering. It's really the key. So yeah, just get to an L3. If you're going for an even longer fight, like let's say like a Labyrinth of Legends type fight, that sort of fight, where you're gonna have to do a lot of damage. It's gonna be a long fight. You strap in. You might as well go for at least 2 L3s, maybe even a third one, get like 6 smoldering, just because you're going to be able to keep your temperature up. But I always go for at least 1 L3, or if you have things to read, just to get 2, because then you can actually keep your temperature at a decent rate. It makes a world of a difference. But as you can see, for every hit, every 3-hit combo, we're putting on Incinerate and a Power Sting, and yeah, you can see it really adds up over time, that damage just from the Power Stings alone. You got the passive Incinerate damage going over time, which is great. So yeah, get the L3 off, get the 2 smolder charges, and then you can go for an L2, which we're going to go for right here, I think. Yep. She's stunned, and then we can charge our heavy, get all the way up to 20, and there we go. And now that we're at 20, our Incinerates are going to last even longer. Boom, we just did 8 Power Stings right there. Baited that special, which is crazy. You guys, keep in mind, this is just a 4-star champion. The values are probably going to really start to ramp up as a 5-star. I really want to see a 5-star, man. But you can see it's just really easy to keep my temperature right around 20. And that damage over time, man, it's crazy. And again, this would work on an Incinerate immune character. All this damage over time. Which is just crazy to think about. You can see we're keeping like 10 Incinerates at a time, and I get hit a little bit here. I'm like, alright, might as well let her hit us again, put us some courage. But as you can see, with this many Incinerates, there's no regen, because for each stack of Incinerate or passive Incinerate, it reduces healing regen by 20%, and that's without any Despair Mastery. So if you have at least 5, there's no regen, so no willpower healing, no any kind of healing. So yeah, that's great, man. You can pretty much stop all kinds of healing. You'll actually be reversing it if you run Despair, which we're going to showcase actually in the next fight. We're going to take on Wolverine in here. It's just really cool, man. So that was my main worry, is that willpower healing was going to be annoying if you weren't having the passive Incinerates, if you just had the debuffs. But you don't need to worry, because especially with Despair, man, you're just going to be reversing any willpower healing, which is just really cool. And yeah, that's Captain Marvel taken down, 158 hits, but you can see the damage output was pretty good. It was pretty good. Again, this is a 4-star champion. So yeah, next up, we're going to fight Wolverine, and actually on this fight, we don't have the flame on. The pre-fight ability, you can see we still have 1 persistent charge, so it's not active on this fight. You can see our Incinerates are non-existent just because we're bleeding right now, so we're just waiting for that bleed to fall off. We're going to go for an L3, I think, and get smoldering. And then we can actually keep our temperature up, then we can keep our Incinerates up. So yeah, pretty much that's what we want to do. Get to that L3, get smoldering. At first, this champion was really confusing. Read through his abilities, and I'm like, okay, how do you play this character right, man? I was really confused, but once I just started playing him, it all started to make sense. The key, man, the key is to be smoldering. And also what you can do is when you get to an L3, you can see right there, I was kind of starting to charge my heavy attack, and then once they come at you, boom, drop that L3. So yeah, right after the L3, we're going to be put into the Nova form, Flame On form, so we can replace some of those passive Incinerates. It doesn't last too long though, which is fine. For this fight, I think it's better to get the debuffs, because your passive flames act as an Incinerate debuff for Human Torch's abilities, but I don't believe it transfers over to, let's say, Despair. So Despair, if you don't know how that works, it basically decreases regen for each debuff, but if it's a passive Incinerate, I don't think it would count towards it, so that's why I just kept him out of the Flame On form for this fight. But as you can see, man, we don't have to worry about Wolverine's healing, which is great. You can see he has absolutely no regen. It's actually being reversed, which is really cool. And yeah, man, it's just awesome. So you can see the stun, then charge the heavy. That's really the rotation you want to get. Then boom, you can max out your temperature. And just look, he's getting absolutely no regen. He's actually just decreasing. And boom, man, he's almost dead. He's at 3 bars of power. He's got a regen. And yeah, there we go, he's dead. So some really cool stuff from Human Torch, man. A lot of stuff you can do. Just really fun character. An Incinerate god. He's the best Incinerate champion in the game, 100%. Just because he can incinerate immune characters. So, like, you know, Hyperion has some nice Incinerate, but Human Torch is a better incinerator just for the pure fact that he can incinerate immune characters, which is crazy. So yeah, that's gonna do it. I really like Human Torch. He's really cool. He's not gonna be too much of a defender, I don't think, unless you bring in a Mystic champion to fight him. Like I said, his prestige is 10,530, solid prestige. I think I'm gonna be going for him in arena, which should be interesting. I'm sure his cutoff's going to be pretty high. We're going to have to see. But yeah, overall, I think he's a really cool character. And I'm really excited to see the future Fantastic Four, see the future of their synergies, how they synergize with each other. Really interested to see what this guy gets from future synergies. And yeah, I really like the new. Let me know what you guys think about the new ability, the pre-fight ability. I think it's a really cool addition to the game. I like it. I wish there was maybe an easier way to trigger rather than just, if this ability fails to trigger, oh, you get a higher % for next time for it to trigger. I don't really like that aspect of it. I wish there's a way to just gain it back, kind of like how, you know, Morningstar, how you have to gain her soul. Like how, I wish there was kind of something like that, but I still like it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think of Human Torch. This was an early access content creator video. He's going to be looking for my account very soon in the next couple of days. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of him. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more content to come. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.